Today, by the way.
Appreciate that.
Hi, everybody. Matt here from Matt Likes Comics, and I'm excited today to bring on Griff from Uncle Griff's Golden Age Comics channel. How are you doing today, Griff?
Doing great. Had the day off just so I could do this. Can't ask for
Yeah,
more
I
than
took
that.
the day. I had the day off today too. Unfortunately, I had a sick daughter at home today, so it wasn't quite what I had planned. But she's feeling better, so that's all. To me, that's all that really matters. So before we get going into our thing today, and by the way, Golden Age fans, this is the show to watch. Trust me on that one. I'm going to talk quickly about what I've got coming up with my members. I have finished, edited, and uploaded. Edited. You know how much I edit. I have finished 2 member-requested videos, and they are now in the queue to be shown in the next few weeks. I bring this up because that is one of the benefits if you are a member of my channel. You get to say to me, hey, Matt, I'd like to see a video about tacos and comics. If that's the case and I can do it, I will do it. As I'm just using that as an example, of course. The other thing is, if you are a member of my channel on the 31st of May, if you are a member on the 31st of May, you will be entered into my first quarterly draw for members. And the more members I have, the bigger the prize. Because I'm not doing members because I'm trying to get money out of it. I'm trying to use it to help give prizes out to people and such, because honestly, the people out there that deserve it the most are you guys, the true comic believers and all that stuff. So, Griff, welcome to the channel. I have been wanting to get you on here for a while. I know at the moment you're very small, but your videos are very interesting.
Thanks, man. And very small would be an understatement. I think I have about 20 followers. That's okay. I don't mind so much. And I love your channel. I love the way you talk about the books, the stories in the pages. It's just great stuff. I've always enjoyed it.
I appreciate that. My first question is, of course, what interests you in comic books and what made you decide on Golden Age?
Well, just like everybody, when I was a kid, I started reading comics. I started collecting X-Men comics in the mid-'80s. Me and my friend Carlos used to go to the mall and buy comic books there. But kind of gradually changed my collecting habits where I don't really collect anything modern anymore, just Golden Age stuff. It speaks to me a little more. I love the variety in the Golden Age. Mm-hmm. One of the things I really like about Golden Age comics is the backstories, the stories behind the books that you don't get to see a lot of. I always tell people there's 2 types of collectors, those that collect the stories on the pages and those that collect the story of the pages. And I'm kind of the latter. So I'm always looking for stories that have, or comics that have backstories with them that I can tell just a little bit more about it. Hey, did you know this character also did this, or the writer of this also did that? And those are always fun for me.
And those are actually some of my favorite parts of your channels, is the stories behind the stories. I mean, when it comes to the comics itself, and one of the things that I try to do with my channel is when it comes to the comics itself, it's easy to say, okay, here's the cover. The cover is done by so-and-so. The writer was so-and-so, whatever. But there's a little story behind this. And for example, like when Superman was killed, they decided to kill him off because they wanted to marry him off. And the TV show had just started for Lois and Clark with Terry Hatcher and Dean Cain. And they wanted to wait a couple years to marry them. So don't marry them in the comic books. We're like, screw it, let's kill them then. And so they killed him off.
Exactly.
And those are the kinds of stories I like to hear about. That is the part of it that I like a lot. And your videos have shown towards that, that sort of vein. For those that haven't seen it yet, Griff loaded up a video today on the Harry A. Chesler, and he told the stories. Not only did he show some books and stuff from the company, but he told the backstory from some of the guys that worked at Chesler and some of the family. And I never knew in one case that the one guy was a jewel thief. That was that would brighten my day. It was like, oh, this is cool, because what was cooler than a guy who's putting out crime comics than to have a son who's committing the crimes from the crime comics?
So exactly.
That was kind of cool.
And the fact that he robbed the same store 3 times.
Yes,
Not once, not twice, 3 times.
exactly. So let's take a minute before we get too much further to say hi to everybody who's joined us tonight. First up, we have Kay Munin, who says that he's busy tonight. He's just saying hi to everybody. And here I go. I've dropped the link to Uncle Griff's channel if you want to check it out. Mark, you were technically first of the people coming here. It's good to see you, Mark. Awesome, Robbie Joseph, another great Golden Age aficionado here. John Harrison, good to see you. Diabetic Superman. I always smile when I see that name.
Same.
Lyle, that's awesome. Lyle is a good channel too. If you're not subscribed to Lyle, you should be.
Yep.
Lewis is here. Lewis, by the way, is one of the members that asked me for a video that I did on his behalf, and it will be early. His video will be up in early June. Jeff Jack says, I'm subscribed. Jeff, first of all, welcome. I'm subscribed to his channel with notifications, but never lets me know about any new videos. The Chesler Comics video looks interesting. I'll go watch after this. And my understanding is you took a little break, right?
Yeah, some family trouble we had to take care of. Life happens.
Mm-hmm. Mike Dennis is here. Mike, it's good to see you. Lewis, Dope is here. Dope. You have been dope. Your videos have been killing it lately. I have been putting down a list of books that I'm going to buy just based on your recommendations. Thank you very much for it. Raph is here. Raph is going to be on my show in 3 weeks on June the 2nd. He'll be here as my guest. Good to see you, Raph. Another guy who does great detail in his videos that I really, really, really like. And here's Rich from Big Nasty Comics,
Hey,
who's
Rich.
He's the other one whose member video was requested that I put up today. So let's see here. We're still got people here. Mark's Mike from Casino Comics. Mike, it's good to see you here. Hope everything's good with your new shift back. Lyle is saying there are more subscribers on your channel now. We'll look at that in a second. I think Brittany from Comic Showcase Shop is here. Hi, Brittany. Brittany will be on this Sunday on the Superhero Sunday show with Gary B, the casual guy, as well. We're all going to show some of our favorite books. And let's see here. Comic Mike is here. Hi, Mike. Nate is here. Hi, Nate. Good to see you popping in before you get ready for your own show. And that's everybody in the chat that's here so far.
That's a lot of familiar names to me.
That's awesome. So, Griff, what made you decide that the Golden Age was what you were going to talk about when you made the decision to do a YouTube channel?
Well, honestly, it's just the stories. For me, I can find a lot more stories and I can do a lot more research on that era of comic books, finding out stuff. I mean, if I may, one of the ones I've got coming up is I'm going to do a series on boot camp comics. And this is a boot camp comic for the Navy in World War II by Ritter and Gaboy. I started out doing a boot camp series and one comic for each of the services in boot camp. Because let's be honest, if you served in the military, the one thing we all have in common is boot camp. I always say you just survive it. That's all you do. So I started doing research on those guys and find out they were pilots. And it was interesting just learning out about their life stories in the service and after the service. I have a lot easier time doing that with Golden Age books because those lives have been lived than with modern books, where it's a little harder to tell the backstory behind an artist or a writer.
That is true. We are not going to get the full story behind a lot of these modern comics probably for another good 10 years or so. There are, interviews out there, but it's when they retire and the people who follow these books start writing books of their own. That's when we're going to, start to see more information.
So I really enjoy that aspect of it, being able to tell the backstories. Ritter and Gaboy in that book, Theodore Ritter ended up writing a book on baseball after the war and became a professor. And Gabby Gaboy became a World War II ace, and he survived the kamikaze attacks off of, I think it was Okinawa in World War II. All stuff I learned just because I decided I wanted to do a video on boot camp comics. I would have never known about these guys otherwise.
Have you brought some books to show us tonight?
Oh, I've got a couple, 2 or 10.
All right, perfect. I'll make you big, show them out, and I'll chip in with questions and comments, and I'm sure our crowd will do the same.
Sure. So one of the upcoming things I want to do, especially because the estate for Will Eisner just became available for purchase, the family selling off all his intellectual properties, is I wanted to talk a little bit about Will Eisner. And everybody knows Spirit Comics. They're very famous books. But what most people don't know is that after his time working in the comic industry, he continued to do comics for the U.S. Army.
Right.
So one of the cool things I have is an M16A1 servicing manual that was drawn by Will Eisner. Now, if you want military guys to pay attention, how do you do it? You do it 2 ways. You put it in comic forms, and you put a hot chick in it. And that's exactly what this book is. So maybe you're familiar with Spirit. I think it's number 8, which has got Skinny on the cover, one of the most famous femme fatales of the Golden Age. This is Connie Rod, the character that he created for the military to teach different things in maintenance and how to clean your weapons, how to take care of your radar systems and everything. And he did it basically just because he enjoyed doing it. It's the same style artwork, the same style humor. Difference is this will cost you about $5. See if you can go pick up a copy of Spirit 8 for about $5.
Yeah, no, maybe the ripped off little corner.
There you go. Maybe 1/10 of the back page.
Yes.
That's about it. So again, trying to keep it on a budget because I live on a budget just like everybody else. I try to buy most of my books for under $20-25, and being able to tell Will Eisner's story that way is a lot of fun to me. One of the latest pickups that I have here is this book. This is Copper Canyon. And this young lady right here is Hedy Lamarr. And I want to tell all about her and her story. She invented basically frequency hopping, which is used in everything from radar systems to cell phones. Yeah, one of the smartest people that ever lived. And she is infinitely quotable. I mean, just hilariously quotable.
And the person, of course, they based the character of Whitney Frost on the show for Captain Carter there.
Yep, that's right. And I'm going to save some of her quotes for that episode, but trust me, you'll enjoy them. Mm-hmm. The series I collect the most would be Don Winslow of the Navy. And here's another Don Winslow. I've shown this one before, but I picked this one specifically to show you tonight because of the war stamp on it. I enjoyed telling the story of war stamps and how they came to be, what the government was trying to get out of the comic publishers and why they basically blackmailed the comic publishers into making war stamp books, saying basically, you don't present the comics we want, we won't give you paper to print your books.
Yep.
And I love Don Winslow because it has just about anything that in it that you could want, from horror covers to war covers to hottie covers to bondage covers, you name it, it's got them all.
Yeah, I see you have one on your wall there. Do you mind bringing it down and showing it to us?
Oh, this one here?
Yes.
This is one of my latest acquisitions. This is Don Winslow of the Navy number 4. The last of the big value ones that I wanted to pick up. I love this cover, by the way, because it's just silly. You have the submarine crashing into the ground here. You have the kind of psychedelic colors right here. You have the Nazi guy underwater with a plunger. That's going to work.
Yes.
And Don Winslow in dress whites underwater fighting the Nazi.
Very cool.
No idea why, but I love the cover, so I just said I got to have that one.
How many issues was Don Winslow?
There were 73 issues in the series. It ran all the way up, I think, until like 58. It was picked up. The last few issues were by Charlton Comics, and then they changed it over to Navy War Heroes after that. And that ran all the way up through the 80s. There's another 150 issues to pick up of that once I'm done picking up the Don Winslows. Oy.
Very cool. Lyle asks, what issues of Don Winslow are you looking for?
The biggest one I've got left is number 3. As silly as it sounds, I got a running list that I keep on my Instagram page for anybody who's interested. I always say, don't buy them, but if you can find them, let me know where I can buy them and I'll buy them. I think number 3 and number 67 are the 2 big ones that I'm looking for. And they're not even expensive. It's just find them,
Hard
in
to
decent
find,
shape. Well, nobody collects war comics but me. So
There's quite a few out there. I mean, there's a lot of Silver Age DC, the big 5 for those. But
oh yeah,
I know quite like Steven likes war comics from the old day, from the Golden Age. As they say, he's got a very good collection of some of them are fighting Marines, are fighting Navy, and fighting Army, that kind of stuff. He's shown I actually have had him on for Independence Day with my first year. We did a video where he showed a lot of his war books, and that was pretty cool. I showed a few of mine too, but not the same. They're not the same caliber he's got. What else have you brought for us tonight?
Well, one of the other things I always tell people, most people just hate markings on books. It drives them nuts. And I'm the exact opposite. I want the markings on the book as long as it tells the story of where that book was at a specific point in time. I think that makes it a little more special. So if I show you this book, which is Dick Wingate, it was a Navy propaganda tool trying to get people to join the Navy. And this was printed in the height of the Korean War. Mm-hmm. There's nothing special about that book. You could pick it up for $5, but on the back, right up here at the top,
I love those stamps.
Yep, from the Navy Recruiting Office. And this was in Aberdeen, South Dakota. So I can picture a kid walking into the Navy Recruiting Office to join the Navy in the height of the Korean War, picking up this exact book and reading it while he's signing up. That makes that book a little more special to me. I always look for those little markings that maybe everybody else would hate, but I just love them.
Were you a Navy man?
Yes, I was. I joined the Navy at the ripe old age of 18.
Nice.
And everybody in my family serves. I come from a multi-generation family of military service. My dad was in the Air Force. My uncle was in the Marine Corps. Both my grandfathers served in the Army in World War II. We all serve.
Yeah, I have the distinction of being rejected by 2 countries' navies, so I tried, but didn't get in. My health wouldn't let me get in, so I tried. But my grandfather served in the Royal Canadian Air Force for years and years and years. So he actually used to be one of the guys that would draw the training manuals for the pilots. He was the guy that drew the instrument panel diagrams and stuff like that. So. And then when he retired from there, he became a sign painter. So he had an artistic career for the most part.
I'd put some of his artwork up on the wall if I was you.
I don't have any. To be honest, I don't know who has it. And it may have disappeared over the years. My next question is going to be, do you buy books of any type of grade? Like some people will just they'll grab the book. They don't care about the grade because they want to have the book. Or do you hold out for a specific level?
Depends on the book, honestly. So with this Don Winslow number 4, any grade would have been fine because I've been looking for it so long. I mean, it took me a few years to find one that I could get that's in my price range. Now, of course, there's 3 for sale on eBay. Go figure. But with that book, it was just, I need to have one for my collection. But with some of the other stuff, like the Eisner books, I'd like those in higher grade if I can afford them.
Right.
You can't always afford that.
Eisner's one of my favorite Golden Age artists. I love the fact that not only did he do a large part of the Golden Age stuff and was even involved in the Wonder Man suit, but the fact is that he is credited with the first graphic novel, like original graphic novel with the, I think it's The Talk with God, or, back in the 70s, and that he lived to the 1990s and was still doing art right up to the day he died.
Yeah.
I find that really cool about Eisner. His Phantom and his Mandrake, the Magician, are really great. I've personally read a lot of that stuff, and the fact that you can still get Phantom comics to me is still absolutely blows me away. Eisner is one of the best.
Absolutely. And you and I have another artist that we both like that I would accept in almost any grade. with this artist, I want the cover to look really good though, and that's Macro Boy. I know you've got a Captain Marvel or so laying around.
I do. Macro Boy is one of the best. I definitely know that Robbie Joseph's out there, huge Marvel family fan. I'm looking forward. He's going to be on the show in 2 weeks. I'm looking forward to what he brings to that, because he always brings the big ones. Can I ask you to pull some of those books down behind you, like the Blonde Phantom and the Wings and the Navy books behind you? We'll take a look.
Sure.
I think they're looking really cool, and I'm like, I got to see these close.
Oh. Just grabbing a random handful.
I like books.
So I picked this Jungle Comics up, or Kanga Comics. I call them Jungle Comics. They're all the same for me. Right. Because I got it for next to nothing. I think I paid $5 for it. I don't mind having it in low grade. Great story. I want to pick up more of those, but they just keep getting progressively more expensive. So,
Good Girl is on the rise again, eh? And Alan was just talking about that not too long ago.
True enough. This is one of my favorites, Blonde Phantom.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's one of Steven's favorites, too, the Blonde Phantom.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
pretty awesome.
Looks just like my wife, by the way, and I'm not kidding. She's gorgeous. Cool. I don't know how I got lucky.
Does she wear the mask, too?
On special occasions.
Very cool. We'll leave it there.
Brick Bradford, do you know who the artist on this is?
Schomburg.
Right. It's not labeled there, but I love it because getting this style of artwork for him is really getting pricey. And I was able to pick this up in a trade, and gotta love it. I mean, it's always nice to be able to pick up that style of art. I don't think I'll be able to pick up too much more. I'll just have to look at Stefo's collection and go, oh.
Well, they showed that book last night.
Did they?
I think maybe even both did. I'm not sure, but it was on the Monday show last night.
I'll have to check it out. I've been working overtime. I haven't got to watch any videos this week. You wanted a couple Wings comics?
I love Wings. Is another one that Steven shows a lot of the Wings, and it's just I can't get over how cool they look. They look so amazing. Which issue is this?
This is Pickles. It's in black on black. I think it's 130-ish. It's right there, but I can't read it because it's dark on dark.
Yeah.
Happens.
Now there's some DC Silver Age where you could they'll put yellow on black, but you can't see because the yellow didn't quite go through. I have to open the book to find out the number.
Well, I wanted a Wings comic that had Grease Monkey Griffin, which is kind of their sidekick character. So I bought this hoping it was in there and find out wasn't in there. So I ended up having to buy another one, which is fine because this is the cover that I really love anyway. This is by Fawcett, and it's got a Grease Monkey Griffin story in it. One of the episodes I want to do in the future on the channel is just about Grease Monkey Griffin, though I could talk about Wings comics for an hour, just all the famous artists that did work here.
Yeah, it is a surprisingly interesting series that's full of keys. If you are a key collector, you should be looking at almost 1/3 of the series. Just
it seems that way.
Keys. It sure does. Whether it's artists making their debuts or characters making their debut or just, great covers. It's just amazing.
Well, that one's great. It's got a story about Grease Monkey Griffin is told by the general of the base to save or get rid of a mother dog and her puppies. And he ends up trying to save them. So he puts them on a bomber that's been decommissioned, not knowing that the bomber's been recommissioned, and ends up flying over Germany with the mother and her puppies fighting the Nazis. Because, go figure, crazy. But just a fun story. And then Startling Comics. This is another Schomburg cover.
That's a beaut.
Yeah, it is. Getting those early Schomburgs is really hard these days. I can't. That's number 36 on that list. And let's see what else I brought over here for you. Forgive me, most of these graded comics are Don Winslow's. I can go over all of them, but nobody cares.
Uh, show a few anyway. See it. To me, it really doesn't matter what the comic is. If I've never seen it before, I want to see it.
Well, I wanted to pull out ones like this. This is a Wings comic. This is from the Okajima pedigree.
Nice.
Now, it's the only Okajima I have. I tried to see if I can get one book from each pedigree because, let's be honest, pedigree books are just so darn expensive.
Yes, they
But
are.
if you want to tell the story, you have to have one of the books. And I love the Okajima story, though I've heard recently that the story's changed a bit. Instead of it being just one girl that was collecting these books in the camps.
Yeah, there's been talk that it's like it's definitely the work of two people, the minimum.
Yeah, still doesn't hurt. Still tells the same story.
They're still gorgeous books.
Oh, yeah. Here's an early Don Winslow for you. This is Cracker Jack Funnies number 20. This is from the Lost Valley pedigree.
Nice.
Now, which artist can't draw feet or hands, in your opinion?
Well, there's a lot, actually. I even find Kurt Swan has some problems with feet.
Well, I always joke that this is a distant relative looking at these hands of Alex Liefeld.
Nice.
Because he's got the baby hands. Grab a couple of these. Here's Don Winslow of the Navy, number 16. This is a Crowley copy. It's also the checking copy, the makeup copy. Now, what I love about these is, I don't know if you can make it out, there's a stamp here.
Yes, I can see the stamp. I can't see what the stamp is, but I see there's something there.
It says checking copy, Advanced Makeup Division.
Nice.
What's cool about that stamp is it's an in-house stamp from the manufacturer. And what they would do is they would start the presses, run a few issues, stop the presses, pull those first couple of books off and set them aside. They would go through those books and make sure all the colors were right and that the ads were right. Everything was lined up before they did the full run. That became the advanced copy. Mm-hmm. The Crowley, who's the publisher at the time, kept one of each of those. And that became the file copy. So this is that specific book. So amazingly high
cool. It's like finding one of Bill Gaines' copies, eh?
Exactly.
Bill keeping 12 copies of everything.
Exactly. Yeah. I when those first came up for sale, I was like, I would love to bid on those, but
yeah, I think Gaines' name added at least $1,000 to each of the sales of each book because
true enough,
they came out high.
Yep. Here's a book I've shown before, but I'll show it here just for reference. This is Zane Grey's Tappan Burrow 4-color comics. And this is an important book in my collection because it's the Mile High copy. Again, one pedigree book from each copy, or one copy of each pedigree book if I can get it.
One thing I've never been able to get an answer from, even the guys in Mile High weren't sure, was how many books were actually in the Mile High collection. Some people say it was as many as 500 books. Others say it's as low as 190, but I think it's more. I think it's more closer to the 500 personally.
I think it's more than that compared to, if you just look at the catalog he posted back in the 80s, that it would be more than 500.
I would think, yes, I would think it's that, but nobody, as I said, nobody seems to have an exact number or even a round number-ish, I see different sources everywhere because part of the problem is they say a lot of the books weren't noted as being from there when they were sold originally. Exactly. And so they can't really prove it now. So it's hard to add them to the pedigree.
I hear you there. And there's a lot of high grade books out there that I always look at and wonder where that book came from. Especially with these days with pressing, you can never tell, was it originally that or not?
Yeah.
So if I can get them in the old labels, that makes me happy. I love the story behind it. Just Chuck being able to find that collection, and after 3 or 4 other people turned down the opportunity to do it.
And the cool thing is, with regards to the story of the Mile High, there's this thing he used to do called Tales from the Database that he put all his. For those that don't know, some people out there know what I'm talking about. Others don't. he had put it was like a blog, like because they took his articles that he wrote for the Comic Book Journal and put them up on the Mile High website as tales from the database. And it was really cool to sit there and read the 7-8 articles right in a row about this is what happened, this is how it happened, this is how it happens.
Yeah, it was great.
You may see, Raph, you may be right. Like I hear so little. I would put it in my mind. That's how big I would think it is too. But to be honest, based on the size of the house and some of the things, based on this, based on the story as I was reading, I would put it myself in the 2,500 to 3,000 category, because it didn't sound like it was that, like it was like a huge place. It was like filled to the brim with stuff, but the original art that was there that took up space, I don't think there were as many comic books as people think there might have been.
I don't know. One of the things I always want to do is do a little road trip, and I'd love to take that book back to Colorado and take a picture with me in front of that house. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to take that Okajima book to
is that house still standing?
Oh yeah, it's still there.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I know, it's weird, eh? The things we want to do. Some people want to go across America and see the world's biggest whatever. Other people, want to go to the places. Like, I want to go to the middle of Iowa just to get my picture done with the glasses where Buddy Holly died. They put the glasses there, that huge little memorial of glasses. I'd love to get that done. And I also want to go to Graceland because...
Well, it's Graceland.
Okay,
It's
Robbie Josephs is just saying 15,000 to 22,000. Well, again, that may be true. That's possible. I'm just thinking, were there that many different books back then?
Yes. From this research that I did with Chesler this week, I can tell you he said, now this is him saying it, not me. Chesler Sr. said that he did 5,000 different titles in the Golden Age.
Wow.
They
can't all be in. Okay, if that's the case, I know this is a thick book, but they can't all be in here because it sure doesn't feel like a lot of 1 or 2 shot books are in here.
They're not.
So
you take this book, for instance, right? This is Rigging Bill. You can find these for about $35 to $300 a piece, depending on condition.
Right.
This is not in the comics price guide. This is not in Gerber's books.
Wow.
So there were a lot of books that didn't make it because they're either off-sized. You think about Donald Duck #1. That's an off-sized book. The only reason it's in the price guide is because of the character on the front cover. But there were other books that were printed that weren't there.
Yeah, like that Archie one that Mike from Lunch Money found, because no one knew what it was. They had to find somebody who, they had to find a specialist to find out what it was.
Exactly. And there's actually a website. If you want, I'll send you the link. I've got to look it up right now myself. That'll tell you the production numbers and the titles for each manufacturer in the Golden Age.
Here we got Robbie making sense. Damn you, Robbie. That's awesome. He could have had multiple copies. And I do know that he did have some multiple copies because I know that Chuck writes in the stories I was about, he had 3 full runs of Captain America.
Yep.
He kept one for himself for the longest time until he had no choice when he had to remortgage the place. So
I would love to see, I know, well, you can tell me I'm wrong. I believe the dentist ended up with the copy of Action Comics #1, and it's never been graded. I'd love to see that book.
So would I. If it's in the condition like these other books, baby. But you know what? To get a 9, say it's just out of the blue, it's a 9.2. Just the cost of getting that graded with that 4% thing.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, because they're going to sit there and say, well, this 8.5 went for 6.5 million, so 7 million or whatever, and 4% of that.
Exactly.
Then you have to have that cash up front in order to get it.
And if you put the logo that says Edgar Church copy on top of it, now what's it worth? Add another million, add another 2.
Minimum. Minimum 1 million for sure. That would go crazy. And I think that would be a copy that if it was like that, that would hit $10 million easily. And I think, and that of course, limits the amount of people that could buy it, but
sure. I'll start a GoFundMe. I, I
I
need a
did
lot.
start a GoFundMe by saving my dimes. I have 7 dimes so far.
There
Woohoo!
you go. You're further along than me. But there are a lot of
Well,
books in the Golden Age that didn't get put into publication because of weirdness. One of the books I always talk about is this one. This is Johnny Come Marching Home by Ritter and Gaboy.
yeah.
This book was only sold overseas. So this book, in order to get into my hand, had to be sent overseas during World War II, purchased in France, I believe it was, brought back by a sailor or serviceman, stored for 55 years before it ended up in my hands. You're never going to see another copy of that.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
know, and that's the thing. I mean, like the Overstreet is incomplete. It is the most complete guide out there, but it is still so incomplete just by the fact that right off the bat it ignores underground comics.
Yep.
So it's always been incomplete. But it just fathoms me. Like if I was to find one of these books, like even a lot of the Canadian whites still haven't been cataloged in there.
Exactly. You know, I love the stuff that Alan did with the Canadian whites. That was just great stuff. I learned a lot about characters I didn't even know existed. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, well, you know something, like I really wish people may or may not realize this, but Canada really does have a rich comics history, whether it's the comic books we brought out ourselves during the war, or but the fact that we have 2 languages that we've printed comic books in on a regular basis, and the amount of artists who have worked in comics that are from Canada originally, like Joe Shuster, you know, that there are a lot of people out there that it could make an interest. Dave Sim, you know, like characters that are Canadian. Like I always thought it would be cool if Canada would make a comic book museum somewhere,
Yeah.
just for the Canadian comics. But I don't think there's any real appetite for it because I think the actual target market would be too small.
I don't know. Would you go visit if it was in Toronto?
Well, I wouldn't drive the 5 hours, but I live in the capital. I live in the capital of the country, where the vast majority of museums are. I would definitely go a lot if it was local.
What I always try to do when I'm figuring out whether something would work or not is figure out if it's a day's drive, would I go? That's why I threw that out there.
Well, yeah, Toronto's close enough. Toronto. Thanks, Adam. Toronto is close enough that my father lives in Toronto. That, I mean, you can make a day trip out of it, 5 hours each way. But the traffic in Toronto is such a pain in the ass. Most people just want to stay the night. They don't really want to make a day trip unless they have to. But at the same time, Toronto would be a good place for it because it's the biggest city in the area. And there are about 25 million people within an hour and a half there. So,
well, if nothing else, I'd love to see some of the original art from some of the whites.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean,
there is one Canadian white book at the Canadian War Museum, and I took a picture of it the last time I was there. But I don't remember off the top of my head. I believe it was a Triumph Comics, but I don't know which issue number it was.
Ooh,
it was from it was from 1944.
That's right up my alley.
Yeah, see, Lau's just talking about it. Yeah, what I'm talking about. Cool Golden Age. Lau is from Ottawa as well. So there are some cool Golden Age books at the War Museum. And that was just, I brought my kids to the War Museum last year, and I was looking at some of this, and it's pretty cool. Anything else you brought for us there, Griff?
Well, I can show you a bunch more Don Winslow stuff that I had set aside here.
Perfect. I'll make you big.
Trying to do these great. Don Winslow number 8. Try to back that up.
Very nice.
Cool war cover. Here's another Crowley checking copy. This is Don Winslow number 43.
Nice. I love the U.S. Navy officer's cap. It's just so gorgeous.
Yeah, me too. Shame I was enlisted. I didn't get to wear it.
Because the Canadian Navy one is similar, but it just has the anchor, the typical British anchor in the middle with a little maple leaf to the side, and it's not as cool and unique as the eagle is. I think it's pretty cool, but
gotcha. Here's another file checking copy, a Crowley copy. This is, I think, number 59. Yep, number 59. I always thought this was a flying saucer until I got to actually get to look at it because the pictures in that you see in Gerber's look so bad. It's
Yeah,
actually a funny styled helicopter.
nice. Yeah, I can see more or less a helicopter now that you say that.
And then another Crowley. This is Don Winslow of the Navy 33. And can you identify the ribbons? There's a lot of cool stuff in the books here.
I'm not that familiar with the American honor system, but
yeah,
you know.
But he's got quite a bit. I know the one on top, that's the Medal of Honor.
Oh.
The stars with the blue background. I don't know if you can see
Very
it.
Cool.
Oh, let's grab another handful. I didn't know whether you'd want to see graded books or not, so I just set them aside.
I love seeing all books. It's always a question when it comes to my channel. It's all and my show here. It's always a question of what do you want to bring. I'm happy to see everything.
I'm the same way. I love it when people just tell me about what they love.
John Harrison is saying, I see some nice original art in the back of you by Rad, who was here recently.
Yep.
He was here in the chat earlier.
There you go. I'm just about to talk about her, and I'll pull that one up so we can talk about it next. This is Aaron's copy or Aaron's drawing of Singapore Sal, one of Don Winslow's villains. And here's Singapore Sal and Don Winslow in bondage there. This is another another Crowley copy.
Very cool.
Great for that. And what I love about her is you don't see very many female villains in the Golden Age. Even modern age, you really don't.
Yeah, no, there was Catwoman and the Cheetah and Dr. Poison for Wonder Woman and her. That's all I can think of off the top of my head at the moment.
Well, I love Singapore Sal. In the radio shows, they used to bill at her as everybody's favorite pistol-packing pirate Peach. So that was her nomenclature for episode she was in. Spoke with a kind of New Orleans drawl in the radio shows. You can still find those online, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I loved it. I downloaded 1,000 episodes of Adventures of Superman with Bud Collier.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Here's probably the rarest book I own. This is Don Winslow of the Navy #9. File copy, checking copy, Crowley copy. Only graded copy on the census. So I always tell people, if you find this book, just buy it. Because most of the time people don't know what they have. And this was a real low print run. So if you can find it, buy it. I'd be remiss if I didn't list this one, Don Winslow of the Navy #1, with his best sidekick, Captain Marvel.
Very cool. And he outranks him.
Yeah.
He outranks Captain Marvel.
You really can't see it all along this book. The reason it's so low grade at 3.0 is because there's writing all over it.
Oh, that's too bad.
No.
But you like that. But you
I'll tell you why. It has Byzantine, occupied, Isthmus. I can't read this one. I think it's France. But when I see this book, I see a kid in 1943 whose teacher in school is telling him all about what's going on in the war.
Very cool.
You see him writing that on the book as he's being explained what's going on. To me, that makes that book cool.
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of things. I like when when you find the kid's name in it. I don't know if you've heard the story that I told, but when I was putting together my run of DC Comics Presents, the full run, issue 51, the first time I had it as a kid, I was in the hospital and my parents brought it to me as something to read in the hospital. I wrote my name on the inside. So imagine my surprise 30 years later when I buy the same book and I open it up and my signature's there.
That's awesome.
I got my copy back. It was pretty cool, and I have it now. Still has my signature in it.
That is amazingly cool.
Yeah.
That book,
and I kind of my point being, I like seeing when the kids sign their books. You know, in that sense, like a lot of people don't like this sort of things, but I agree with you that the historical touch is a nice touch. It gives it a almost human feeling to me, like whether it's a date stamp because someone bought it at that time, someone carried it. and all that stuff. Oh, Holly is saying that's my favorite comic book story. Yeah, it blew me away when I did that. It was like, to me, it's like, this sounds so ridiculous. It has to be made up, except it wasn't.
Well,
It's just so.
Just the providence of God. That's just.
Lewis asked, did you pay up for the original autograph? I literally put my name in it because I didn't want anybody to steal it, or like, or one of the nurses to, or have the nurse take it away and throw it in with every other thing. That's why I wrote my name in it. I've never done that for another comic ever. It was just because of the situation at the time. Well, my last question for you there, Griff, we're going to be wrapping up shortly. My last question is, where do you see yourself going with your collection in the near and far future?
Well, I just have a lot of stories I want to tell. And I think if I can do that, I'd be happy. To me, it's not about getting a specific book or a run of books anymore. I've given up on that. I just probably never happened for me. Maybe I'll get to finish Don Winslow, but doubtful I'll get to finish any of the other stuff. But I want to tell the story, like I said, of Ritter and Gaboy, and I want to tell the background stories for Schomburg. I think he's got an interesting story to tell. And if I can do those kind of stories for a while, I'll be happy. I mean, I'm going to do one on Reno Brown. I don't know if you know who that is. She was a cowgirl, Western cowgirl in the 50s style Western movies. And she's got a great story with her. So if I can tell those stories for a while, I'll be happy.
Very cool. By the way, you've got 30 subs now.
Woohoo! 50% more than I started.
Thank you very much, everybody who subscribed during the broadcast. I hope I'm going to throw the link one more time in the chat if you want to give it a quick look. Griff's, if you like history and you like the Golden Age, Uncle Griff's the place to go. He's got he's only got 8 videos at the moment, but they're good videos. I've watched them all. I think that everybody out there should do that the same.
I appreciate it.
Thank you all, everybody who came. And as I said at the beginning of the show, for those that missed it, if you are a member of my channel on the 31st of May, you will be entered into my quarterly draw that I'm going to do the second week of June. So if you're not a member now and would like a chance at the draw, join up, become a member. It's only $3. Thank you, everybody, for tonight. Thank you, Griff, for being here. Oh, sorry, you were about to say something?
I was just going to ask, if you guys who are watching tonight have your own comic channel, shoot me a link. I'd love to see what you've got. I'm always looking for new providers to do comic content.
Thank you. Yeah. Trust me. By the way, my guest next week is a gentleman by the name of Randy. He's coming from Swarm of Comics. He's coming on for the first time. I've seen him on Gary B's channel, and I've watched a couple of his videos so far. He's got a really good collection, and I'm looking forward to seeing pieces of it. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. My name's Matt. I like comics, and I hope you do too. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Matt. I really enjoyed it.